What is going on, guys? It is the House of Orange Sports Channel coming at you on what is it, Wednesday night? I've lost track of the days of the week at this point. It is Wednesday night. The Tennessee Volunteers take care of business tonight as Papa J pretty much summed this one up really good right here. Looked a little sloppy in the first half, got it together in the second half for sure. Tennessee moves on tonight, 92-57. And speaking of, revisiting that comment from Papa J here, he's exactly right on that. 40-31 at the half. Montana had it at 9. Montana was keeping it close for a good portion of that first half. Tennessee got away a little bit late. And then in that second half, it was just total domination, 52-26. They outscored Montana in that second half. And, even over that last, almost 4 minutes of the game, they were on a 13-3 run that capped that off. But I think if you look at Tennessee's team and what you saw tonight, you got to take a lot of positives from it here as well. And there's going to be some questions about Nico. I'll address that. I did record a video, released that about 40 minutes ago, right around 8:30. So if you want to check that out, check it out. I talked about what his status is for Saturday, and I've really tried to detail that concussion protocol. I've gone through it. I've been trained on it numerous times when I coached in high school, even middle school ranks. We have to go through the training. It is very intense. It is very precise. It is very specific. Try to detail that as well as some info that come from a trainer that I follow on Twitter as well. She detailed that last night. She wasn't speaking of inside info on Nico, but just the process in general. I think people underestimate how intense, how serious a head injury is. You can have a broken arm and you're going to have a better chance of playing than you have a concussion on it. But anywho, let's talk some basketball here tonight. Reese Winters is in here. He's the first one to comment. He said, Igor. Yeah, that's right, man. You guys that have listened to me on basketball, from the time Tennessee got Igor Milicic Jr., I've been high on this guy, watching his highlights back when he came from Charlotte. Of course, he started out at Virginia. He's from Croatia, played on the Polish national team this summer, had high regards on that. But just when he came from Charlotte, watching his highlight reel, watching his tapes, there's nothing this guy can't do. I'm not saying he's the next Luka Doncic or anything like that, the next Dirk Nowitzki or anything. But this guy can play. His upside is as high, if not higher, than anybody else. I don't know if it's the highest on the team. I said the other night, and I said it is. Cam Carr's got some high upside as well. I mean, Chaslin here obviously has some, but I mean, I don't know. Igor's skill set, based on how he can shoot, we saw that tonight. His passing is outstanding. His defense is good. His rebounding's good. Rod Clark said it back in the summer before they started. They talked about specifically about Igor Milicic, and he said, we even ran him at the point, and he's 6'10", and said he looked pretty good at it. He didn't look out of place with it either. Igor on the night went, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Here's the big thing for me with him. No turnovers on the night. I'll get into the analytic scoring of it here in just a moment. But I want to look to split box score. I'll get into some of your comments here in a minute. I appreciate you guys tuning in right now. And like I said, we'll talk Nico a little bit, but I did make a video on that. And just trust me on this. I've had people 2 nights in a row trying to tell me otherwise on this concussion stuff. I've gone through the training, guys. I'm just telling you. I'm not saying I'm the be-all, end-all on it, but I've gone through it enough that I know a lot of the protocol on it. It is serious. If you risk running him out there with concussion syndromes, there's going to be people fired, people with lawsuits on them. It's going to be a big deal. Just trust me on that one. But anyhow, Tennessee tonight shot 61%, 31 out of 51 field goals, 43% from three-point range, 9 out of 21. I like this stat, 84% from the free throw line, 21 out of 25. 13 turnovers, 24 assists. That's a good night for them as well. Almost 2-to-1 assist to turnovers. Probably would rather see those turnovers come down a little, But 13 turnovers for Tennessee, 11 for Montana. Tennessee did get 15 points off their turnovers, where Montana got 4. And then, good Lord, total rebounds tonight. Tennessee 38, Montana 17. That is called dominating the glass tonight. That is that's pretty good. And 38 points in the paint to 22, 20 fast break points. Montana 0 fast break points. Montana, I'd say the one negative on the night, they had 9 steals. Of course, the 13 turnovers for Tennessee. Tennessee was 6 steals, created 11 turnovers, but 24 assists, only 8 for Montana. That's a pretty good statistical night. I agree with Papa J. I stated earlier, I'll hit his comment again. A little sloppy in that first half. It allowed Montana to keep it within single digits pretty much the entire half. But once they come out in that second half, I mean, and I think a big thing as well, you got Zakai and you had Chaz both in foul trouble in that first half. But different guys got time. Cam Carr got more time. I'll talk more about him here in a little bit as well. I think a lot to like, especially in that second half tonight as well. I'm going to hit the basketball stuff here. What's up, Greg German? Good to see you in here, man. Need a new in. Show me the money, Williams. Dude was a player, man. He's a good-looking basketball player for sure. Let me see. He ended up with 30 points tonight. He was 13, pretty much. 8 out of 15, 10 out of 13 from the free throw line for him. Dude's a player, man. 4 out of 7 from 3-point, 8 out of 15 overall. They said, let's see, what was they said on the telecast? They said that he was what looked at as a possible second round pick. So, I mean, I don't know. I can argue that. I mean, especially against a defensive team like Tennessee, he has over half of Montana's points tonight. Pretty impressive. Yeah, I agree with the general here, man. I would take him in a heartbeat. on the team. I really was kind of curious to see if we would see Dubar tonight. I thought we might because I know he'd been around the team, but not tonight. But he has returned. He returned yesterday. He's officially back with the team. I think I would not be surprised to see him against Austin Peay this weekend, possibly. So Tennessee has them Sunday. And I still say Dubar is going to be a guy who's going to make some difference on this team. He was the 5th most offensive efficient player in college basketball last year at Hofstra. He's going to come in and make some difference. And I don't think it's as simple as he's just been in the doghouse. It's a case of they've said it's been some personal issues, and they're not going to go into that any further. And I don't think you're going to see any Tennessee media go into that any further out of respect either. I don't think it's as simple as he's just been in the doghouse. Rick Barnes had stated it was something personal, something he needed to take care of for a while. Said we loved him. We're here for him. We're here for whatever he needs. But he said Rick Barnes has maintained the whole time it is up to Dubar as to when he comes back. So he's back with the team. I was hoping to see him tonight as well, but we may see him a little bit. I'm speculating. I have no idea if we'll see him this weekend. I would think we'll start to see him here pretty soon, though. Yes, that's where we're going to stick to. Again, the Nico stuff, I've got a video out on it right now where I talk about that. So if you guys want to talk about it, check it out. No disrespect on that at all, guys. I definitely appreciate all the talk on here. But, yeah, let's keep this thing on basketball tonight. And if you want to check out that video, leave me some comments on there as well. But let's see what else we had. I like to look at the analytical statistics on the night. So I'm going to look at the home split here, look at the analytics on it. So Tennessee's plus minus on the night. Chaz was plus minus 13. Zakai Ziegler 20. Milicic was plus minus 34. Meshack 18. Akpara 28. The only minus was poor old Grant Hurst comes in for a couple minutes of play. Almost had a 3 that didn't hit, but he was close on that one. But Boswell plus 13. Gainey plus 24. Kate Phillips plus 8. Estrella was just 0. And then Cam Carr was 19. And then on their offense tonight, efficiency rating, trying to find that. There's a lot of statistics here with it. Offensive rating on the night. Actually, JP Estrella actually rated the highest tonight on it. He was 3 out of 3 from field goal range, had 1 assist, 2 out of 2 on free throws. He was the highest offensive rated dude on the night at 219.3. Cam Carr was second at 184.9, 13 points, 3 out of 4 field goals, 1 out of 2 3-pointers, 6 out of 7 from the free throw line on the night for him. Chaz Lanier, 13 points, 5 out of 8, 3 out of 5 on 3-point field goals. No free throws on the night for him. I know Rick Barnes had said before the weekend, before they played Louisville, that he was really on Lanier about driving to the basket. So I think that's something we want to see more of. I want to see more of that from him. I don't want to see him be that guy that just is content to sit outside and shoot outside all day. If you've got that game, utilize it. And I think that's what Rick Barnes definitely wants out of him as well here. Let's see here. Let's look at some more efficiency. Zakai Ziegler, 11.7 assists, 1 turnover. That's more like it tonight out of Zakai Ziegler. We can't have those games where he's turning it over 11 times. I mean, he had what was it? 18 assists and 18 turnovers coming into this game. That's a very high amount through 2 games, but 7 assists, 1 turnover. Good game for him tonight. 11 points, 3 out of 4 from 3-point range. 131.9 on offensive rating. That's a very efficient night for him. Milicic, 141. Again, I mentioned 18 points for him. Meshack, 8 points. Akpara, 13 points. 5 out of 7 on field goals. 3 out of 3 free throw line. Boswell, no points. Gainey, 4 points. Cade Phillips, 4 points. Cade Phillips, biggest thing, 0 for 3 from the free throw line. He's got to get better to his free throws. He was actually, Cam Carr missed 1. And that was it. Defensive rating on the night. The top defensive rated dude on the night was indeed Chaz Lanier. That's one of the things that they talked about. But Rick Barnes has been very complimentary of Lanier's defense here as of late. Meshack, of course, graded out 107.4. Boswell graded out high. Cam Carr graded out. All 4 of those guys were over 100. Akpara at 99. So some pretty good ratings on that as well for Tennessee. Now, if I look at just the box score for Tennessee, Lanier 13 points, 4 assists, 2 turnovers on the night. Ziegler 11, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. That's a very good night for him. Only 1 turnover, 1 block, 1 steal, 29 minutes. Igor 18 points, 10 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals. That's a great night for him. Meshack 8 points, 3 boards, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 block. Akpara 13 and 4. Did have 3 turnovers. He's got to be a little more careful with the basketball. Steve Hamer said it on the telecast. He talked about, some of those times where he puts that head down with the ball out. That's a turnover waiting to happen. Let's see here. Biggest issue was the slow defense transition the first half. Scoring drought in the first half is concerning. Could have been due to Chaz on it. But yeah, Chaz was in free throw or in foul trouble at that point. Just a little stagnant to start off the game. But, once they got going, I felt like they got going a little bit more at the end of the first half and then come out and rolled in the second half. Steve Jesse, what's going on? Let's go Tennessee. There's T-Rex said Dubar could help now that he's cleared. Yeah, I'm really kind of surprised he didn't play tonight. I thought we may see him back in, but I don't know how much he's been practicing. I know it's been said he's been around the team and he's been dressed out, but it doesn't necessarily mean he's been practicing any. Let's see, Steve. That's all right, man. I'm just advertising them, guys. I mean, if you're feeling generous, you want to contribute to the channel, It's greatly appreciated. If you can't, guys, listen, I get it. I totally understand it as well. But, it's just you put time, you put effort into this. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. You, if you can, you want to make a little money doing this on the side. I'm not going to lie. Hey, I get it, man. Yeah, nobody has to apologize or anything for not uh if you don't drop money, guys. I appreciate it. Biggest thing you guys can do is share out the content. Really, just share it out. If you're one of these that you've checked it out and you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button as well. Those are the biggest things that can help along the way. Tennessee's first big game I would consider is when they go to the Bahamas coming up. Let me pull that schedule up. Of course, Louisville this past weekend, I still think that was a pretty good win, especially the way they dominated Louisville. I mean, that's an ACC team. Yeah, I know they got a new coach. They got a brand new team. But still, yeah, it's still, to me, it's Louisville. It's on the road. That was one they really wanted to make a statement in that game. Austin Peay beat Butler just, last week? So, I mean, that's not a game you can just come in and they're going to roll over for you. They're not going to. But I think Tennessee should take care of business there. But when they go to the Bahamas, that's when it's going to get a little more real. They play Virginia, which I've not kept up with what Virginia's doing, especially since Bennett retired. And then they will play either Baylor or St. John's in the second game. I think the last I had seen, I could be wrong on that, Baylor was ranked higher than St. John's, but I've seen polls where both of them are ranked. And that takes place next Thursday night, 9:30, they play Virginia. And then Friday they will play, I'm assuming if they lose, they play at 2:30. They win, they play at 8 is the way it's listed on that. So just a little 4-team tournament down to Bahamas. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I agree with this. I thought Louisville was a good win. And I didn't know what to expect going into that game. And I've seen projections on Louisville. I've seen one dude from SI picked them around 90th this year, picked them to go 16-15. 24/7 Sports, though, one of their writers had Louisville predicted to finish 4th in the ACC. And we know ACC is normally a strong conference, even though I think the SEC's got something to say in terms of best conference. I mean, we saw Kentucky beat Duke last night. We've heard all about how great Duke's going to be in Cooper Flag. Kentucky, I mean, that's a good win for Mark Pope to start off. You got to give the credit on that one. Let's see. Yes, I like some of the dunks. I like hit Akpara for a couple, hit Igor on one as well. That was pretty good for sure. Yeah, I kind of wonder why Shaq was not on him. I still maintain that Meshack's the best defensive player in the country. I don't think there's any doubt about it in my book. Maybe I'm being biased on that. This is most definitely one of those where Rick Barnes probably laid into him at halftime. This one, I think the Gardner-Webb game was one as well, especially even though the bucket got wiped off before the half. I think that was one where that when they let that guy go the length of the court, it looked like he'd scored going into halftime. Obviously, they reviewed it, and he didn't. But Rick Barnes come off that bench ready to chew some ass that night. And I would not be surprised if he chewed on some again tonight. They both games were different teams coming out of the half. Let's see. I did not watch any of the Kentucky-Duke game, but definitely I saw some highlights of it. And Kentucky's going to be a handful to deal with. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, this is definitely got a post presence in Akpara. I'm not one to just totally hate on Jonas Adu from his time here. He did good things to me, and the weakness with him, obviously, the games we got beat, it was due to centers dominating. The big thing with me with Jonas Adu is how it ended. He's sitting over with his talent on his head, not in foul trouble, not injured. They have to go to, Toby Awaka's battling all he can against Zach Edey, JP Estrella, who's played not a lot into the year, is trying to battle while your all SEC center is sitting over there on the bench with it. I agree. I mean, Akpara is a post presence. I think as Estrella, he and Akpara both have been battling injuries. I think Cade Phillips is going to get better as we go along with him getting more minutes. And of course, Milicic, I'm very high on Igor Milicic. Tonight, I think, was just the start of seeing what he's going to be able to do for this team. He's got the skill set. He may have the most, or not the most, the best all-around game on the team. I really think that. And I think when I look at guys on the team in terms of their upside, I'm putting him first on the team. I'm probably putting Cam Carr second in terms of upside. I'm not saying that's who's going to be your best players this year, because I think Chaz Lanier is going to be your leading scorer on the season. And Chaz Lanier obviously has some great upside too. He's playing defense. It's probably been emphasized now more than it ever has for him. Now he's starting to play that defense. It's going to be, like tonight, just staying out of foul trouble with him. But they have some dudes that are some athletes, but they're also some basketball players with some upside. And that's what I like about this team. That's why I've been high on this team in the season. I put out a video a little bit a while back, said, is this the year for Rick Barnes? This team has potential when they put it all together. You got to think right now they're still gelling. You're working in Milicic, Akpara, and Lanier into the lineup as 3 transfers. Dubar, once he gets up to game speed, he's going to be a part of that rotation. Cam Carr is playing a little bit more now. Cade Phillips is playing a little more. JP Estrella is playing a little bit more. And you got to think with Sakai Ziegler, Jemai Meshack, they're used to playing with Vescovy, with Josiah Jordan James. I mean, they played 3 years with Jonas Adu, with Tobe Awaka. A lot of the guys they're used to playing with are not here. I mean, Meshack and Ziegler played together the whole time. But other than that, other than possibly practice, this is almost in a respect like a new team. Of course, Gainey played a little bit more with them last year as well. But I'll be interested to see when they go down to the Bahamas how they look against that competition. But to me, that game against Louisville was that was a really good showing. That was a really good show, and I like that one as well. Yes, definitely. That Illinois game, they play them December 14th at Illinois. I mean, they play Miami in Madison Square Garden. We know that has been the last few times Tennessee's played there a house of horrors. They play Syracuse December 3rd in Knoxville, and then they start SEC play. Once they get through that, that will be all of their non-conference schedule. This is really one of the weaker non-conference schedules I've seen Tennessee play in a bit. But that's not to say all the teams on it are bad. You just normally see those top 10 teams on it. Of course, we may see some of the higher teams when you get into Baylor and St. John's. I do want to look at these Ken Palm rankings. If you guys have listened to my shows, most of you have, I look at the Ken Palm a lot. I like how he's got that. So with the Ken Palm rankings, right now, Ken Palm has Tennessee ranked 6th on Ken Palm. He has them number 1 defensive rating, 20th offensive. He's got them updated what Tennessee is. Let me look here just a minute. Tennessee's 3-0. This is up-to-date statistics with Ken Palm. He's got Tennessee overall as 6th. Auburn number 1. I'm looking at teams on Tennessee's schedule. Alabama 10th. Baylor 14th. St. John 17th. That's what I'm thinking of when I think of those two. Illinois 20th. Illinois is mentioned as well. A&M 18th. Got Kentucky at 21st. I don't know about that one after last night. So may have to revet. But I mean, he's showing Tennessee at 3-0 right now on it. So maybe these are not up. Maybe the record's up to date, but the net rating is not, is all I can figure, because I can't see how Kentucky would be 21st after last night on it. Trying to see who else is on here. Of course, Texas, Florida, Texas, Mississippi State. There are respectively 22, 23, 24. Arkansas 32nd. These are Ken Palm. These are not the AP or coaches polls, by the way. Tennessee does not play Memphis this year. It's got Indiana at 40. Of course, Tennessee played them the exhibition game. LSU. So that looks like, off the top of my head, the teams that come into play on there. Man, somebody, Billis or whomever, that doesn't have Meshack on their off defensive team, they've got to explain that to me. If they're just looking at steals and blocks, that's one thing. Rick Barnes has stated that, but yeah, steals and blocks don't tell the whole story. It just doesn't. It's crazy. I mean, I said it last year. I was happy for Ziegler and he won Conference Defensive Player of the Year, but he's not the best defensive player on his own team. He's a heck of a defensive point guard, don't get me wrong, but just ask Dalton Connect. Just ask Dalton Connect how good of a defender Jahmai Meshack is. He's credited him with helping him get better. It's just crazy. It really is. Yeah, I mean, Jonas's big games was really, again, Jonas, he was an important part of last year's team, but it just is what it is. I think it's a much deeper team this year. I mean, we're already seeing it. You're getting a different leading scorer each game. It was very rare last year that Dalton Connect was not the leading scorer on the team. He wasn't obviously the leading scorer in every game, but he was the leading scorer in most of them. Lanier, you've had him a couple games now. Milicic tonight. I think you're going to see a little combination of that moving forward. I could see some other guys. You're going to have some nights, probably Ziegler leads in scoring. You may have a night where, one of those nights Jordan Gainey gets hot. It's to me, going to be a more well-rounded team. The defense, a Rick Barnes team is going to play defense, or these guys won't play. So they're going to buy in. They're going to do their thing. To me, the question is going to be, how is this offense going to be this year? How is that? Are they going to be consistent, or are we going to have those nights where they're hitting one night, they disappear the next? I think that's going to be the big question there. And I think Gainey will be the guy. Probably a combination Gainey, Lanier, if Ziegler gets in foul trouble and has to go out. That's kind of looking like what we have right now. But let's see. I'm trying to look here. Let's see, Virginia. Okay, good stuff. Beating Campbell and Coppin State. They play Villanova Friday night. I know Virginia has been last couple of years, last year especially, they were like the most boring team to watch pretty much in basketball. I saw something about this that Adu's apparently coming off an injury right now. So I don't think it's a case he's just benched. He's still working his way back right now with it. So we're coming up on the 30-minute mark tonight. Again, I like the defense and I thought the second half, if we look at the scoring for it, again, second half, 52-26, 40-31 in the first half for Tennessee. They come out, they took care of business in the second. Just overall good night, a good, well-rounded night to me. What I like the most, I like seeing Igor Milicic do his thing. Lanier, of course, comes out of the second half. He comes out blazing with 11 points. We've heard about Cam Carr. I did a video on him back in the summer where he went to the Jason camp, and they talked about his potential, how he showed out there. There was one outlet that has him as a projected lottery pick coming this year. Rod Clark kind of pumped the brakes on that one, but still, you can see the potential with him. You can see the potential, and I think he's one of those guys. If he comes in and hits a shot when he first comes in, the dude may go off on the night. We saw it in that second half. Yes, I totally agree with this one. I like seeing him tonight. I like seeing him get more time. You see he's explosive to the basket. You see that He can shoot outside, 6 out of 7 from the free throw line. He played good defense tonight as well. Yeah, I totally agree. He did not look like a defensive liability on that. I know they gave Meshack the credit for the block late and he got it, but Cam Carr was on that one too. Cam Carr was manning up on that one and enabling Meshack to come help out. I thought it was definitely more Meshack with the block, but I thought Carr was playing some really good defense on that too. Boswell, I was curious to see how much he'll play because if I'm not mistaken, guys can play about 9 games without redshirting. But, here's the thing of it. With Ziegler gone next year, I say you get Boswell as much time as you can this year. I mean, I'm almost starting to think the redshirt stuff in football and basketball is starting to be a thing of the past. I could be wrong on that. Baseball is a different story. Of course, that's another topic for another day and time. But yeah, with so many guys leaving after this year, to me, I think you're getting more out of Boswell by playing him just a few minutes here and there, opposed to redshirting him. That's my opinion on it. And I think some guys from last year, that was what I said last year when I was covering this. I said, I wish some of those guys like Freddie DeLeon, I'm trying to think who else transferred. I know DJ Jefferson off the top of my head. I said, I wish some of these guys would be patient and stick around as well. I don't know what conversations were had with the coaching staff after the season, but, sometimes patience pays off. And if you're a Bishop Boswell, I think what's going to be your better alternative? Stay this year, get as many minutes as you can, play, and the next year you've got that experience. You're ready to step in when there's a handful of guys returning. I mean, looking at that roster as I pull that up right now, as I always kind of forget for sure who all's gone. I know after this season, of course, Lanier's gone. He is a senior. Ziegler, a senior. Milicic, a senior. Dubar, a senior. Jordan Gainey is a senior. Meshack is a senior. And that's it. So you're returning contributors. And I say that based on guys on scholarship. Boswell, of course, is a true freshman. Cade Phillips, a true sophomore. Estrella, true sophomore. Felix Akpara is a junior. And Cameron Carr is a true sophomore. So you got 5 guys coming back. And it says I was going to talk a little recruiting. I put that as well in my description. So Tennessee did have their first 2 signees or signings of the 2025 class today. As let me pull it back up here just a minute. They got Amari Evans. I made a video on him committing a couple weeks ago. And then, of course, it's been a while back. Dwayne Brown, center out of Alabama, signed as well. And, of course, I've done videos on all those along the way. Amari Evans, Rick Barnes talked about him, how he may have been one of the best fitting players for Tennessee basketball that was out there. The comparison with him is Jemai Meshack, except more advanced in his offense. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I saw a couple former UT basketball players talking about Dwayne Brown today as well. Talk about how he has soft hands for a center. Some of the video back, I haven't looked at any of his stuff in a while, but he could run the court. He could shoot a little bit. He could do a lot of things. And, Brown's 6'9", 235 out of Hoover, Alabama, ranked 102 overall according to On3, the number 9 center in the country. And Barnes, his comments on him said, we're quite pleased to officially welcome Dwayne and his family to Knoxville. Comes from a very successful high school program, Hoover, at which he has won back-to-back state titles. Barnes goes on to say he's a skilled forward with the ability to score in the paint. However, he is also adept at both shooting and facilitating on the perimeter. That was one thing in the highlights of him that impressed me. At 6'9", he can get up and down the court, and he can lead a break. That's pretty impressive to me for a guy that size that's able to do that. And then going back to his comments as well, he said he's a hard worker, hard worker who is receptive to coaching, and we feel he will be an excellent fit for the culture of our program. And, that's the thing with the Rick Barnes program right now is that there is a culture. If you don't fit it, you're not coming in on it. Oh, you think, sir, you're referring to this year, Greg, or you think maybe a couple years on that? Because I'm kind of thinking the same thing with you. I'm real curious to see it, even though they say Barnes says he's got a few more years with him. But, we'll see on that. That's a pretty interesting comment. It's one I've thought about, too, wondering if maybe him and Ziegler could possibly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you and I are thinking the same thing on that. I'm not like totally in the wagon, but those thoughts are definitely spinning in my head as well. Let's see. Jim Pan, I saw you. Good to see you back in here, man. It's been a bit, man. Hopefully you're still clapping. Here. I wanted to read about Evans here. Talked about him. He's 6'5", 204, 4-star. It says he's out of Pittsburgh. He plays in Georgia, though. He plays with the Overtime Elite team. So, number 21 shooting guard. Barnes said excited to bring Amari and his family into the program. Stylistically, he was one of the better fits in the country for us. Comes from AAU program, the New York Lightning. Well, that should sound familiar. If I'm not mistaken, that's the same one Ziegler and Awaka played for that we had a lot of success with in our time here. He possesses toughness, shooting ability, skill, and a superb basketball IQ. Amari hangs his hat on being a high-level defender. That's a Rick Barnes quality, definitely, which is something that stood out right away to us. More than anything, though, he is a winner. They got him on campus for an official visit in August, and they had to withstand some visits, but they were able to do that. And, the thing with Evans, it seems him and Barnes hit it off. He said Coach Rick Barnes is a hard-nosed coach. There's not many of them that stood out. He's just a winning guy with a great personality. And he's a hard player, amazing defender, love my teammates, and will do anything to win as well. So pretty good pickups. Again, the thing about Evans that immediately stood out was that the comparison I saw to Jemai Meshack, except a little more advanced offensively. But, it'll be interesting to see what Tennessee does. They are still in on, I think it's pronounced Chris Cenac out of Louisiana. I've even seen stuff suggesting they may be possibly in the driver's seat for him. 5-star center. He's about, 6'9", 6'10", somewhere around in that range. That would be a big pickup for Tennessee. You got to think that's probably a one and done if they get him. But that looks to me right now like their best chance at another signee for 25. There's still some more out there. There's, I think you pronounce it Ament. I hope I'm not wrong on that because I know I butchered Denia Prowl the other night when I said Denia. And for some reason, I thought I'd heard that before and messed up. I hate to mispronounce names. I hate it, but I do it sometimes. But that seems like Tennessee's best chance to add more. And then I just think Barnes' style, if, for as long as Barnes does continue, and had a really interesting point here, which I agree with on it, it's going to be portal heavy. When Barnes' time to go is, I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't let Jordan Gainey or Justin Gainey maybe step up and do it. I don't know. I think that's a real possibility because he's been with Barnes for a bit now. 4 years? Seems to be Barnes' right-hand guy. So I could see him getting a shot at it a long way. Maybe not. Maybe they'd rather see somebody go out and prove themselves in another school, but I wouldn't rule it out. I would think Barnes would have some say-so when he says it's his time on it. So I'm going to wrap up basketball. I'll hit real quick on Nico talk. Again, check out the video tonight if you have not already. I released that about 8:30. His status was updated tonight. They said he is questionable for Saturday. Of course, Dante Thornton listed as questionable as well. Nico's going to be the big one for a week. I released a video last night on it. Yeah, I titled it Nico out Saturday for Georgia, but I put the question mark and exclamation on it. One ESPN guy at the Bears said he's hearing, based on what he's hearing, he thinks he'll be out. He didn't say for sure he's out. He thinks he'll be out. Pete Thamel said that Nico's definitely questionable for this week. The injury report tonight confirmed that he's questionable as well. So he's 50-50 at best right now. I think the day that's going to be the most curious to look at on him is going to be Friday on it. Friday, we'll see. If he goes up to probable, I think there's a real good chance that he plays. If he's questionable, we're going to have to probably wait till game time on Saturday night. And we maybe get a little bit before then. My guess is we won't know till Saturday night if he plays or not. And if he stays questionable, it's going to be anybody's guess at that point. It is everything I've read. It is concussion symptoms. It is concussion protocol. And again, based on, I've gone through years of training on concussions. I've had to take it every year I've coached. It is intense. It's no joke. Again, you can have a broken arm. You're going to have a better chance to play than if you have concussion symptoms. That's just the fact of the matter with it. You have to pass numerous tests. If there's a symptom pops up, and, it said yesterday he was throwing, maybe he had the helmet on. One of the trainers that I saw, somebody who's done it, said, yes, he can put the helmet on and maybe throw a little bit. They're testing out how the weight of that is. Will it cause any symptoms and such? Heupel, and here's the thing with Heupel and that injury, he cannot speak on it. Coaches are not allowed to speak on concussions. Maybe they can do other things and say stuff. It is in protocol. It's in the standards, whatever you want to call it. They cannot speak on concussions. Maybe it's a little more lenient college, NFL. I know high school, you absolutely could not say a word about them. And I'm pretty sure that the protocol and the standards are very close on that, especially in terms of concern, especially in this day and age. They're not going to send somebody out there with any symptoms. They're just not. I've had numerous people disagree with me on that. Tennessee doesn't want a major lawsuit on their hands. There's these trainers, physicians probably don't want to lose their jobs over this. It could cause a big crap storm if you send a player out there knowingly with concussion symptoms and stuff. Just, it is what it is. It's the day in nature. No, Danny White get NATO. Boy, that would be something, wouldn't it? Would that not make some people mad right there? I mean, hey, if you're Danny White, why not when it comes time to reach out? But whatever, man. I'm all go for. I mean, Oates, what he's doing at Bama, you got to give him credit. You got to give him credit with it for sure. But about 45 minutes in, I appreciate you guys coming in tonight. I appreciate you guys helping, keep it on topic here till the end where we talk a little Nico here at the end. But definitely on these basketball post streams, whether it's Lady Vols, whether it's men, I want to keep those on topic as much as possible, try to build those brands. It'll be the same when we get, Saturday night, we'll be live after the football game on here when we get to baseball season as well. Some of you guys in here right now, I know are with me at baseball. So I got to go down Friday night to the Smoky Stadium, watch game 2 of it. And there's going to be some players on this team. There's going to be some players. Got to meet Tony Vitello, which was pretty cool along the way. I don't think it's going to show the whole picture, but let's see. Let me take. I don't know why it's sized like that, but definitely got a picture of Tony Vitello. Didn't really talk to him much, but pretty cool. He took the time. We were fortunate to be able to do that. But there's a lot of talent on that baseball team, and it is not going anywhere for a while as well. Before we get out of here, check out those membership tiers on here. We've got 3 of them on here as well. I've developed. I get a little bit of news from, not saying got any inside team sources, but I've gotten to know a couple people to know. I'm not claiming source or insider by any means, but there is some things, especially baseball. I've developed a little bit of a source on baseball on it. So, those memberships, I'll pass those along. With that, there's $1 Patreon a month as well. Or if you want to give that super thanks, those are always appreciated as well. But thank you guys for tuning in. Hit the like, the share, the subscribe. Have a great rest of your evening. This is the House of Orange Sports Channel. Last but most certainly not least, go Vols.